Okay, I'm going to go through the Surds test. I'm going to put up a copy of the solutions on Google Classroom, but I'm just going to go through it because I want to talk about a few things that a lot of people made mistakes with. Now, the first one was pretty easy. Most people got this right, knowing that root 12 was the only irrational number. You can see that 33 and a third could be written as a fraction. That's already written as a fraction. The square root of 25 is 5. So the only one that was a surd or an irrational number was B. Now this is one, the very first question, a lot of people got this wrong. They wanted to do um, root 32. And I thought, oh, I'll just take root 4 out, and that's 4/8, and they got 2 root 8. And this comes up again in another question. People can't simplify root 8. And root 8 is root 4, root 2, which equals 2 root 2. So you might have lost half a mark there if you didn't get, if you couldn't simplify root 8. Most people got B right. Most people got 3A right. In the next one, I think that was a common mistake. Oh, no, most people got B right. Down here in C, a lot of people here had 5 root 8. So that same situation again. So you're correct, but it wanted the simplest form. So 5 root 8 doesn't really cut it because 5 root 8 is 5 times root 4 times root 2, which is 5 times 2 root 2, which is 10 root 2. So, yeah, bringing down root 8 seems to be something that people had a lot of problems with. Even though they could do it here, couldn't do it later on. I don't know. All right, so moving on. Some people just multiplied these and left them. A lot of people just wrote that as root 81. I remember at the beginning I said write down all your square numbers. Root 81 is not the simplest form. The square root of 81 is 9. And the same here. People just went, oh, I'll have a root 125. Well, that's not the simplest form. And you know that root 5 times root 5 is 5. Right? That's our first basic law. Root A equals A. Down here, a lot of people got 6 root 216. Well, that's no good again. I like to split these, like the 18, up into 9 and 2, and then split and then just simplify it from there. But if you've got 6 root 216, well, that's the same as 6 root 36 root 6. And that's 6 times 6 root 6, which is 36 root 6. And remember, you had all your books. This was an open book exam. You should have been able to do that. Again, some people left this as just root 25. Well, that only got you half a mark because the square root of 25 is 5. Most people got this one right. Most people got this one right. But then some people decided to throw the root 6 somewhere else. So, you get the root 6 somehow going to the bottom. Or the root 6 just going. Leave it in the denominator, in the numerator. Don't move it. Most people got this one right. The big problem here with this one was that people did not cancel the 3's. They left it as 3 root 6 on 3. By the way, show you're working too. Like some people just jumped from and gave the answer. Show what you're doing. Show you're multiplying by root 3 on root 3, which happened down here a bit too. Now, there was some really nice answers to this, and 7A, most of you got that. Once you get to here though, stop. You can't add those. Some people forgot their basic fraction work, but Most people were able to rationalise, 1 mark for rationalising, 1 mark for making a common fraction and keeping it. So the first thing to do, you can see there, multiplying by root 5 on root 5 and root 3 on root 3, which gave you root 5 on 5 and root 3. That's where some people got to there and they got the 1 mark for this, but didn't know how to make a common denominator, which worried me quite a bit. Now, with this one, there is an alternate solution that a couple of people did, which is very good, which I'm going to do in a while because it was much better. But the way that I've done it, first of all, I rationalise. Now, a lot of people, when they rationalise the first one, they made this root 12. Yeah, well, that's okay because you're going to get 2 root 12 over here. But then you're going to have to cancel later on. So if you got root 12 on 6 plus 2 root 12 on 2, and then you made a common denominator, or root 12 on 6 plus, multiply this by 3 top and bottom, and you'll get 6 root 12 on 6, which gives you 7 root 12 on 6. Well, you're almost there. You're almost there. But remember, you can simplify root 12 as root 4, root 3 on 6, and 7 times, I'm going to leave that 2 there, I'm not going to write it, on 6. And of course, 2 goes into 6 3 times, and you get the answer of 7 root 3 on 3. So if you got 7 root 12 on 6, I think I gave you 2 marks. You might have got, but you needed to bring that root 12 down. But this was a really cool way. I saw there were about 2 or 3 people did it this way, and I was just very impressed. So if you did it this way, good on you. So we've got, I'm going to use black, root 2 on root 6 plus 2 root 6 on root 2. And what they did is they did the division. So when you go root 2 over root 6, that gives you 1 over root 3. Plus if you do root 2 over root 6, that gives you 2 root 3. Now we'll rationalise. And we don't have to rationalise this one because the root 3 is already on top. So you only have to do one rationalisation. That was really, this is a much better way to do it. And then you get root 3 on 3 plus 2 root 3, which is over 1. So you need a common denominator. So my common denominator, I'm going to multiply this one by 3 on 3, which is going to give me 1 root 3 on 3 plus 6 root 3 on 3, which gives me 7 root 3 on 3. And that was a much better way of doing that question. You can see it didn't require as nearly much rationalising. So to those people who did it that way, well done. Anyway, make sure you check your solutions and keep going with the work.